Welcome to the BTM Club. Oh, you know it, you know it. The BTM Club's In Conversation series. Now, we've had the honor of speaking with this lady before, and she comes from quite a pedigree. And the Daughters of Legacy. But now
Yeah.
and she's solo already. But we'll get to all this in a minute. Welcome, Keisha Jackson. Lovely to see you, darling.
Lovely to see you. Thank you for having me, Barry.
Oh, you know we love you. You know we love you. And as you can see her radiance here, she said to me, "You look great." And I was like, "Look who's talking. Look who's talking."
Oh,
You know,
thank
how have you
you.
been?
I'm wonderful, actually.
You
Quite
look it.
busy, which is wonderful.
Yeah, you look it. Well,
Thank
when
you.
we first spoke and we first had an encounter together, it was with you and Daughters of Legacy. And
Hmm.
guys, I know you watch the show, so you know the Daughters of Legacy is exactly that. It's all the daughters of the legends of music. Here we have Millie Jackson's daughter, but there's also Betty Wright's daughter, Isaac Hayes, Dennis Edwards. Too much talent,
And Nesby, yes,
too much talent all in one room, but they managed to make it work. And
yes.
I had Daughters of Legacies, better know, all over the BTM Club old school shows on the Beat London. So it was our pleasure to support the journey of that success.
Oh,
So
thank you.
thank you for creating some great music there. It was lovely. But now this
Thank you,
has
man.
come to me with her solo single. So what's the single called?
The song is called On the Floor. It's a dance jam. It feels very 80s. It's so good.
Okay.
I just felt good about it. So I did.
Right. Is it a song that's been you wrote or the group wrote, or is it a cover?
No, so it's not a cover. It is an original song, but it's written by the same guy who wrote You Better Know for Daughters of Legacy. So
Okay.
yes, his name is Jermaine Hartsoul. He's also an artist, but I just love his
Jermaine
writing. As I
Hartsoul.
mentioned, yes,
So you've got him on board as the writers, one of the writers for Daughters of Legacy.
yes, because I just love his writing, and I knew that he would come up with a great, hook for the group for what it was, and it wouldn't sound, you know,
Yeah. And you
corny or
said
anything
he's
like
an
that.
artist in his own right.
He absolutely is. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Hmm.
We have to investigate that further. So
Yes.
when is the single coming out?
The new single is out.
Right.
But I have a new video remix. So there's an extended remix that's coming out in less than 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks exactly, actually.
Right.
And it's an EP with the extended remix. It's very old school, very 80s vibe. So
It
you get the
sounds the
instrumental.
EP when you're mentioning these words like EP. It's like very taking us back in time.
Yes, but so it's an EP, and it has single remixes, radio edits, instrumentals. Like, it's really really good, and we have three different mixes on it with all of those in addition. So Jermaine Hartzell did an extended mix. We have one by DJ Swift, who is a DJ for the legendary Outcast group. So he's giving you like that ATL mix, which is very jamming. And then we have DJ Kemet, who is
Okay.
Soul's House, and that is my brother, and that is so jamming. It feels so good. So I'm
I can
excited
see
about
how
it.
excited you are about this.
Yes,
So,
yes,
so really and truly, you got a thing for the funky, soulful house. You love that.
absolutely, absolutely, yes, yes. Always have though. But I'm originally from New York. I'm a Brooklyn girl, born and raised, and well, raised in Teaneck, New Jersey, but definitely a New York City house girl. Yeah. So I appreciate
Right.
all of it. Chicago house, all of it. I love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah,
Love it.
yeah. I mean, what made you step out to do the single on your own and not one of the other girls?
So we're all individual artists. So the good
Right.
part about that is that we can all still do our individual stuff in the midst. And when the individually, we all kind of get busy, we got to keep the train moving. So I feel like anything that I do is going to help the Daughters of Legacy brand, because I am a Daughters of Legacy. It's
Yeah.
my brainchild, and anything that the other ladies do, I'm going to support it. So this is just an interim project. Like, by no means are we not together. Like, we
Oh
are
no,
still
no, no.
definitely
I
together.
I love that idea of
Yeah.
um, a group coming together because there's one called the British Collective, and
Hmm.
it's
You told me.
That's right. And it's the same type of thing. You come together, you create great music, great vibes, but you're all individual artists and you've got the freedom to do your own stuff
Yes,
and then
yes,
come together and you're still as one. So, as you say, everything you do, even if it's on your own, it is
yes,
still towards the promotion of
yes.
Daughters of Legacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And so that's what makes it great. And we all have different styles, but we come together for, the super group that we are when it's time to do that, and we do live shows and things like that. So yes.
It really is a supergroup because for those of you who might have missed it, which none of you should because you should be following the BTM Club in Conversation series, but these girls are, as I said, a supergroup. There's never been anything like that before, I don't think.
I don't know. I did see something that Sandra St. Victor did a while ago, but it was just for live performances. It wasn't like
Right.
recording and I
I've
think
never
that was
known
like,
of a group that has so many children of legends come together because I think there were how many of you? Five of you altogether, is
there
it?
are five of us, yes,
Yeah,
and we kind of bring others in and out, and I have relationships with many, but we're not all
in the
vocalists.
group. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yes, so we have
And
James Brown's daughters as well.
now that one you've thrown at me, I didn't know that one. They
I
are
had to
part of
say
it as well. They come in and out.
it as well, as far as I'm concerned, honey. But they don't sing, so you won't see them in the forefront in that way. You have Deanna Brown and you have Yama Brown, and they will, Deanna will come and do "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud" at the top of the set sometimes, and
Right.
Yama she'll do all of the introductions and she'll bring us on, and we'll have James Brown break beats in between, songs and things like that. And so yeah, we work it all in because we're all family. It's a soul family.
That is really something quite amazing. And now you've thrown
Yes.
two more members in that I didn't know about.
Yeah, you got to follow us on Instagram, and then it'll be easier to keep up with.
I'm trying, but I mean, what I did see with you on Instagram is you guys in rehearsals, which was great. And you seem to be the real taskmaster. You.
What did I do? I'm scared. I don't know what
Lord
video
have
you're
mercy.
referring to.
She had these girls go. All I know is you all were in the studio doing your rehearsing, and you were pushing the boundaries further and further, further and further. And the other girls were going, "Well, I don't even know if I can do that. You're going to have to do that on your own."
Maybe, but we all have our roles with that. Like, I do that for sure. Absolutely. You're not lying on me at all.
I'm
But
not lying on
like,
you.
you're not lying on me, and you wouldn't lie on me, Barry.
Never.
But Heather Hayes is the choreographer, and
Right.
so she will have us doing kickball change and what is going on, and we're all just trying to keep it together because Heather's come up with a quick 8 count, like, on this part we're going to do this right here. She'll have a shimmy and a kickball change and a ka ka ka, and so yeah, so we're all trying to keep up with each other.
Yeah, but you were the one that was up front and you were coming across and they were standing behind you. You were the one doing what you were doing. And they were like, really? She did, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just that clip, but I guarantee you, I got receipts for all of us.
How did you get in contact with everyone to get them together? Because I know we spoke before, we spoke collectively, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
just speaking to you now, one on one. And as you said, it was your brainchild.
Yes.
So what was it that clicked in you to make you say, you know what, let's get this together?
So, we're all like 1 degree of separation from each other. So, Aisha, I call her Aisha Namfuyo, Betty Wright's daughter. We've been god sisters since we were kids. And so we were always out on the road when Betty Wright, Millie Jackson were on shows together. We were backstage, doing whatever
Yeah.
kids do while their parents are while their parents are on stage. Exactly. Heather Hayes, when I came to Atlanta, I was probably in Atlanta 10 years. And then I got a Facebook message from her saying, "Why don't we know each other? Our parents did an album together." And I was like, "You're absolutely right." Like, so we decided
Wow.
to meet and have lunch. And at that lunch, she introduced me to Yama Brown, James
Right.
Brown's
James
daughter.
Brown's
And we
daughter.
started, yes. And Isaac Hayes III started a radio show for us called Soul Sisters. And we all did that. for 3 years together, and they're still actually doing it now. Jamesia Bennett, I was on the road doing plays, doing theater, and we ended up on the same play. We introduced ourselves to each other, and she was on the phone one day, and she was talking to her kids. She said, "Let me speak to," and she was asking the nanny to speak to her kids. Her kids had the same name as my kids, and so I turned around like a mom, like, "Who is this woman talking about my kids?"
Talking me.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. And so like her daughter's name is Paris, but my son's name is Paris. And yeah, and it was crazy. So she was like, let me speak to, Paris and Corcor. And I have a Paris and Corcor. My daughter's name is Courtney. So it was crazy, like just hearing this woman say my kid's name. And we were on the bus, like we were getting on the bus in Detroit. And I was like, immediately we clicked because we're both Aries and we're both the same. But she comes from the church and her mama prays and my mama cusses. So
I love it. Absolute
Perfect.
truth. Absolute truth. And she's whose daughter?
That's Ann Nesby's daughter of the Sounds of Black.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That really is a bit of serendipity, because for you both to end up in the same play and then suddenly find out that you've got children that are the same names, and yeah.
It was crazy. And we were both Aries. We kind of handled things the same way. We're both on the road with a bunch of guys. We did a show with Ralph Tresvant, Chris from Kid and Play. It was just so many other, Ollie Woodson, rest in peace. We were all in, and we had such an amazing time that she and I just, we were sisters from the time we met.
So there's a bit of musical theater and acting in you, because you said you were in the same plays together. Where did that start then? Did that start from childhood, or?
It started on a humbug, honestly. But I mean, where I actually had a brief career in it. That was just kind of someone asking me, hey, do you act? Because I knew how to sing. And so they were just like, she can act. She can play this role. And they felt like I had enough chops to work with. And so they pulled me in on that. But the acting for me actually started with my mother's stage play, Young Man, Older Woman.
I knew your mother had to come in there somewhere. You cannot.
She had to, listen.
You cannot be the daughter of Millie Jackson and be acting and singing and that not influence you somewhere. From the time you were backstage doing that,
absolutely,
with Wright's daughter, you were watching. You were watching mothers on stage doing their thing, and that influences you, even if subliminally you're picking things up.
Yeah, but it wasn't so subliminal. It was,
but definitely not with your mother, for sure. Not with your mother. It's definitely in your face. Yeah.
She pulled me into this play that she was doing, Young Man, Older Woman, and I had a role in it. I did a club scene. I played a secretary in the revamp called It Ain't Over, and that was with Ronaldo Ray, and so it was really good. I mean, I've just been around some beautiful people in my life, and I try to just take what I can while I'm in that space, because I mean, it's been legendary stuff.
Yeah, honestly. The thing is, I guess, well, I don't think you all would have taken it for granted, but that was just your life. It was just your life being around those people.
Yeah.
Millie Jackson's your mother, Betty Wright's your goddaughter, godsister's mother. It was just your life. But the people outside, they're going, oh my God, that's Millie Jackson. That's right. You know what I mean? But to you, you're just like,
you're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, to you, you're just going, yeah, what's wrong with them? That's my mother, regardless.
That's my mother. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And, we grew up, I was raised in Teaneck, New Jersey. So the Isley Brothers were around the corner. Sugar Hill Records was around the corner. And so when hip hop kicked in, it was just all one big family. Ray Goodman and Brown, they were very good friends. Al Goodman was a very good friend of my mother, one of my mom's best friends, actually. So, whenever my mom threw a party or had a little gathering or had a new project coming out or something like that, and the other way around, whenever those artists had something coming out, then, they came over to the house, let mom listen to it. What you think? You know what I'm saying? It was good. And all
you realize as well, especially in that era with how things were, because when they were coming up, that's the height of the civil rights movement. You realize they were really having to support each other in a way that probably in the UK we don't even understand or appreciate,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
So even if you didn't personally like the individual, you're thinking, well, you know what? We've got more in common than our
That's
characters and personalities that clash. We have to support
absolutely.
each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I really appreciate about that time. And I'm glad I was able to witness that.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, like honestly, you can get jaded being on social media and hearing all the negativity seeming like all the time. You can't really block out the noise unless you opt to stay off of social media completely. You just got to figure out where to put it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really glad that I grew up in that environment because it taught me where to put it before I actually needed it.
But yeah, I mean, could you imagine if social media was out there then? It would have been absolutely horrendous. But I
Yes,
mean, as you say, you have to really sift through and sieve through what's going on your social media. And for
yeah.
me, the minute I see any negative chat, you're unfriended, you're blocked. If you see my
I don't play
Facebook
that.
page, everything I put out there is to lift people's
Positive.
energy.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, you don't need to know if I had an argument with a friend, because in the past you'd have an argument with a friend and that was it. It stayed between you two. It wasn't
Between
put
you two,
out
and you
of
were
the
more
five.
likely
Yeah, yeah.
to be able to work it out without everyone else's two
Without
cents.
5,000 people's opinions
Yes,
on
yes,
what you should do. And, so you really have to be careful. But the thing is, being in the industry that you're in, social media is a platform that you absolutely need. It's absolutely essential.
absolutely. Yes,
So you need it, it's there, but you really have to be discerning on who you
you
let in
have.
the space.
Yes,
But I
yes,
mean, the
absolutely.
Daughters of Legacy is such a positive project. I get all
It is.
tinkly just thinking about it. So when
Thank
you
you.
got
Me
me a
too.
message to say, oh, well, Keisha wants a chat, and I was like, again, she wants to talk to me. Okay.
I want to talk about. You're so fabulous, though.
So
Yes.
new single is called
On the floor.
On the
It's called
Floor, and
On the.
it's out in
Yes.
2 weeks, yeah? Or it's out
Well,
already,
the extended remix is out in 2 weeks. It's out now on all platforms.
right?
On my social media every day, I put an old school video and match it up to the song, whether it's rerun dancing, whether it's JJ, whether it's a scene from The Wiz. But I sync up
Nice.
everything just so you can just get the vibe. You know what I mean?
On the
Because it's just
Floor.
so feel good. Yes, on the floor,
Nice.
on the floor.
Keisha Jackson. Well, of course, you know that is going to be all over the BTM Club on the Beat London radio. So, yes, all the very best with it.
Thank you, Barry. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Give my love to the girls.
I will, and mom.
Absolutely. I'm going to have her on here one day. You know that, don't
That
you?
would be great. You better have some time on your hand. It's gonna be a hoot.
Listen, I'm going to give a week for that interview. We'll do it in
Yeah.
sections. You know what I mean? We'll do a couple of
Yes,
hours
that'll be great.
break for lunch and then come back, because I know that is the story that needs to be told, and the UK audience will absolutely eat it up. They'd absolutely eat
They
it up.
will.
She's got so many huge fans here. I was talking about her just the other day before getting the message to speak with you, and saying, but Millie Jackson started as a comedian.
I mean, I guess not really.
Not really. I know her for singing, but it's really like in the comedy act. It was always humor.
Yeah, you know what it was is that so many people, and that's very interesting because it's a testament to how her career went. Like a lot of DJs, no one really knew where to put her because she did have that comedic side to her. So they would sometimes link her with Red Fox and Richard Pryor
Right.
and and LaWanda Page, and other times they would link her with like a lot of blues artists. So she did a lot of shows with BB King and Bobby Bland and ZZ Hill and Denise LaSalle. And then, she was with soul artists, the Tyrone Davis, the Johnny Taylor, the Bobby Womack. So, and of course, Betty Wright. So yeah, they didn't really know where to put her. And, I remember as a child, her being very frustrated about that. Like, I am not a blues artist. But at the same time, like later you come to see that like they fit you into so many categories. You can pretty much do what you want to do.
And you see,
You know
that's
what I
it.
mean?
It's a testament to her versatility. And I think you more often than
Yes.
not make it when you are an individual and don't follow what everyone else does. But I can slip in with you and do a duet with Isaac Hayes, and I can slip in over there, but I can do my own act, which is completely different from anybody else's. And if anybody was an individual on stage, it was most definitely Millie Jackson.
Yes. And that's the beauty, though, of that era, is that even with all of the groups, no one sounded the same. Everyone had their own sound. So that was what was so beautiful. And that's the thing that I appreciate growing up at the time and in the environment that I grew up in.
Yeah, like, I mean, that
just helps you find your individuality.
When you're talking music with people, it's really difficult not to say, the quality of the music that was coming then was it was thick and fast. It was so,
that's right.
As you said, there were so many artists, all individual, but the quality was through the roof.
Yes, absolutely. And they took time to do it, and they cared about their gift, and they cared about the quality of their performances. So yes, it was a very different time, and it wasn't so manufactured and fit into this box. And you know what I'm saying? Everyone had their own sound, which was very much appreciated.
Actually, individuality was welcomed.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because as much as Mom and Betty sound alike, there are certain parts of their voice they sound completely different, but their sound is similar. So they were often on the same shows, but there was no, oh, I like Betty Wright or I like Millie Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It was always friendly competition.
And that's it. Yes. You just like both because it's not a competition.
Absolutely. It was always friendly competition amongst all the artists, but it made you better.
Yeah.
It made you better. I remember us being on a show with the OJs, the Whispers, the Delphonics.
Just throw in names now. We were on a show with the OJs and the Whispers.
And I can't even say we. I can't even say we. Like I was just, I was singing background for my mother at the time, but I was still barely out of my teens. And I remember like the other groups were standing in the wings watching the group that preceded them on stage, and they would talk so much smack. You better kill it because I'm coming right behind you. And I love that so much.
Energy.
Yeah. Energy. Yeah.
I mean, you said that Millie and Betty sound alike. I don't see it. But
the lower register.
Okay. I don't see it.
I think so. I mean, but we know it now. So like, but for just and Gladys as well. My mother was compared to Gladys a lot. But obviously, they're very, very different. But it's the resonance in the voice.
Yeah,
really, that's all.
Okay.
I'm about. Yeah.
But I love that you say as well. It's friendly competition between us, but to the public out there, unlike now, everything is very competitive. In
a negative way.
In a negative way, they were one. It was like we are not competing with each other. And as you say, it's not whether you like Stephanie Mills or Patti LaBelle or Phyllis Hyman. You like them all. You love them all. You love them all.
Well, vinyl on all of them. They were always played in my house. You know what I'm saying? My mother was playing the blues downstairs, and I was up jamming to Clouds. Shaka Khan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Bootsy Collins and things. So it was just always music around.
Beautiful. Well, you've had a wonderful start, and what can you say? You've had a wonderful start. You can't say anything.
I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative.
And as I say,
I mean, this record made me feel so good. And to be honest with you, I heard this record before we actually recorded You Better Know with Daughters of Legacy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. And I wanted to do it on like little history. I wanted to do it on the girls. I wanted us to all record it after we did You Better Know, but everybody kind of got busy and got spread out. And so I was like, I was so antsy.
I love it so much. I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Yeah. Because we were all busy and I didn't know when we would get to it. And for me, I'm kind of on a mission to put something out every year, whether it's a single, whether it's an EP. I'm working on a couple things and more than one song, next time.
Yeah, but you know what? I did an interview earlier with one of the biggest music managers, and he was saying you have to keep the pot full. You have to keep going. You can't do a song and then not do anything, because he said you'll then have a gap of like 3 or 4 years where you're not doing anything. You've constantly got to have the pot on the fire and putting things in the pot on the fire, and what comes into fruition comes into fruition. But
Absolutely.
you can't just put
Absolutely.
one chicken leg in the pot and eat the one chicken leg and then
That's it, exactly. Come on, what you know about chicken legs and pies? You
hey,
sound like you cook a little bit. Hey.
I cook a lot of it. I cook a lot of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but well, as
Yeah, but he's
always,
absolutely right.
yeah, you have to keep it going. So,
Yes.
which means she's already got the next one in the pot. She's already got the next one in the pot.
Already in the queue, baby. I promise you. Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy though, Barry. It's crazy to even think that it was 9-10 months ago when Daughters of Legacy came out. It just seemed like it was yesterday. So to what you were saying, like you got to keep putting things in the pot, because 2 or 3 years will go by like that, and you don't even realize, like, I've been out of touch. People haven't even thought about me anymore, because out of sight, out of mind, and people are so used to this right here. You know what I mean? So yes, he's absolutely.
And the thing is, it's so funny because in some ways the social media is very good. It's very useful. It's a great, promotional platform.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also destroyed a certain thing in humans, that their attention span is this big. So you've got to try, and pack everything into 30 seconds and have things whizzing across the screen.
Yeah.
To keep someone's attention. So they're not even interested in hearing what the person's doing, what they've got to say, the history. It's got to be a gimmicky thing. And
that's why I'm really thankful for this.
Yeah.
This moment. I'm saying, so that people really buy into you when they know the personality and they feel like, oh, this person is relatable. And so I'm very thankful for moments like this where I get to speak with someone like yourself who asks all the questions.
It's important that, the BTM Club supports all journeys, whether it be acting journeys, authors, writers, musicians, singers, everybody who's coming up with something that's worth speaking about, bring it to the table and let's talk about it and put it out there. So it is as much a joy for us and a pleasure to do it as it is, for you guys talking with us. It really is. So we wish you all the very best with On the Floor. As I said, I repeat, we are behind you 100%. The BTM Club.
Thank you, Barry.
The Beat London Radio, we're there. We're all following you on Instagram. And your Instagram page is Daughters of Legacy.
Daughters of Legacy is for daughters. My Instagram page is Keisha Jackson, Keisha Jackson.
Right, Keisha Jackson.
No, okay. Yeah.
You heard it directly from her, because if I said it, I'd get it wrong. I always do. So we look forward to the single and wishing you all the very best. And I'll speak to you again in another few months with the next chicken in the pot.
Say this really quick. So yes, come on, chicken leg. I love that so much. That's going to be our thing. That's our thing. But I just want to say something really quick. So yes, the single is out now, but the extended mixes are coming out in 2 weeks. DJ Kimmett, DJ Cutmaster Swift, and Jermaine Hardsoul. And I got a surprise appearance from my mother on the song and on the video.
Listen to me and listen to me really well. Clean out those airs. The next time we speak, I expect to see Millie Jackson here with you.
I hope so. Listen, she's always like, I gotta put on lashes. She's like that about it. So I gotta ease her into it. I gotta start working on it way before time and kind of ease her into it. Like, oh, Mom, this is great. You should do this. But like, she's got it. And if anything, honestly, Barry, I'll show her this interview so she can see how fabulous you are. And she'll be like, okay, well, I've got to get fabulous. Let me put on a lash or two.
Tell her I will put on some eyelashes for her if it makes sense. I'll put some on, okay?
Yes.
Lovely to talk to you, my darling. All the very best, and we will speak very soon. Keisha Jackson, thank you.